that's bright. So, Alan gave me a hand on this thing yesterday. Well, a foot rather. Got the clutch all nice and bled. The only problem is, it's still pretty stiff. Get this here so I don't get the seat all dirty. That's the last thing I want to do. Hang on, tight squeeze. It's still pretty stiff, man. Like, why is the clutch so stiff? I mean, I guess Scott was saying this engine's like a higher performance version of the engine or something. So they put a twin disc clutch in it. And even with that little spring that we took out that was 1,000,000 pounds, like, that's pretty stiff. So I guess we're doing the tractor clutch. We have to figure that out. That'll be fun. Put it on the shifter, I guess. Put a freaking lever there for a clutch. That'll be fun. That'll be interesting. So that's where we're at on this thing. Got to do some R&D, and then some install of the R&D. Get her going. Stay hydrated, kids. Usually I don't recommend bottled water, but this stuff's pretty good. Make sure you recycle. The biggest question is, what are we going to do now? Yeah, this plasma machine not working really threw a wrench in our plans, because all of our plans involved using the plasma machine to make things. Could make them by hand, but then we'd need more tips, which means we'd have to run to Olympia, and then I'd have to cut out everything by hand, which means it's gonna be pretty, but it's not gonna be as pretty as the plasma machine. And it's gonna take a lot more time. I mean, I guess we have time since the plasma machine's down, but yeah. Yeah, we'll find something. I'm sure Scott has something up his sleeve. I just don't know what it is.
Hey guys, today we gotta work on the Dune 4RUNNER while we're waiting for our new handheld piece to come for our Bailey 2x2 plasma table. So, stay tuned. Today, guys, we're going to work on the Dune 4RUNNER and give it some attention since we're waiting for our new handheld piece to come from Bailey before we can continue to work on Project Sacrilege here. We got to spool the winch today. I've got some extendable cables and stuff, and its extended module to go up inside the 4RUNNER itself, and then we're be like in the engine compartment by the battery, or where it would go. But I got the battery relocated in the back. As you know, if you've watched my previous episodes of building the battery box and relocating our excess power battery in the back. So what we got to do to get started is I got a roll of some Stinger, I think it's 4-gauge cable, and then we'll get that out and start making ends, and then hook the, make the ends from the winch up to the power supply area that's up on the driver's side fender. I've actually got an SMD, one of these things. Little power block. Got one of those set up over there, and then we'll be able to run power from that over to the winch and then get it spooled. So let's get started. Alright, so one of the first things we have to do here, this would go here. These cables would go up and they'd go over to your battery, but we got our SMD power block here that we'll send them to, and then we'll put the acrylic cover back on for safety. But to start here, this is so close, as you can see. We got to pop the grill off, and to do that we got to pop off our side marker lights, pop the grill out, and then we'll route our wires probably down here. I don't know if you can see very well, kind of through the holes for the hydraulic lines, and then we'll wrap them with some classic plastic loom so the wires won't get cut. So I'm gonna put you guys in time lapse and let's get started.
I hope you find what you've been looking for. Trust me, I don't wanna feel no more.
So as you guys can see here, this is what we're dealing with. We got this little piece that bolts on top of the winch, and then we got our cables, but they're not quite long enough. So what we're gonna do is I got some Stinger 4-gauge cable, pure OFC copper, none of that aluminized garbage. And then we'll get that route, we'll cut these off, we'll route it through here, and then we'll put some new lugs on, shrink tube them. You know, it's not like we haven't done that before, we're pretty good at that. And then we'll get this guy wired up.
Never mind, I'm thinking out loud before we draw a crowd. Reel it in, take it easy, there's no need to scream and shout. As far as I can see, now think it's time for you to leave in peace. As far as I can see, think it's time for you to leave in peace now. Peace now. In peace now. In peace now. In peace now.
Guys, we got the winch, like the cables ran from the winch motor itself up to the little controller box thing that's up on the driver's side inner fender there where the battery would normally go. So we got that all placed and lined up, but now we gotta run power from that little box up to the little AMD power block that I have there on the panel, on the inner fender that goes back to the battery in the back of the truck. So we gotta spool the winch next and put the winch hook on it and actually pull out the synthetic rope and get it all spooled up. But we ran out of time today, but I got an idea. Alright guys, it's the next day. We're back working on the 4Runner. We got to go get the synthetic winch line out of the cupboard and then stretch it out. And I think we have one other wire to hook up. And we're going to go ahead and get this winch spooled up. Cue the music. Alright, now that we got it all wired up, we can officially go ahead and pull out our synthetic winch rope out of the cupboard and then get it slid into the winch and get it spooled here. Okay, we got the winch cable, well sorry, winch synthetic rope in there, and that was really tough to pull it through there. It says use a zip tie. They just kept breaking, so Brandon grabbed some welding wire. Worked way better. And then you jam that little tiny like teardrop pin in there, and it sits in between the rope, and the rope goes around it, and then you shove it back into there, and then you go ahead and spool the winch line. So we'll get the remote out, plug that in, and then go ahead and get this girl spooled up finally. That wraps up the winch spooling video for us today, guys. You know, I've had that ZEON winch on my 4Runner for like 2 years, and I just haven't had any time to spool that winch. And plus, we haven't been wheeling it. You know, we need to finish the rear coilovers and hydraulic bump stops before we can officially go wheeling with it. So we really didn't need the winch spooled, but, you know, now it's done, so we can actually use that this fall and into the winter as snow season comes and that stuff. But it went pretty good. It was really easy. You know, besides pulling the wire through the winch spool itself, or the synthetic rope, pulling it through, you got to pull it through and then put a little locking key in it, and then that you like put the key in the little loop, and then the little loop like pulls tight inside that drum, and then you can spool the winch. That was a little tough, but besides that, I mean, the rest was really easy. So I mean, I highly suggest synthetic winch rope and a synthetic winch setup for anybody, because I mean, messing up your hands with wire and stuff, it really sucks. I mean, you get stabbed with one of those big pieces of wire that pops out of it. It's horrible, guys. I mean, you still have to wear gloves and stuff when you use synthetic rope, but I mean, it's a lot more, you know, easy on you, I guess you would say. I'm not thinking of the right words right now. But alright, guys, that wraps it up. So thanks for watching today, guys. Thanks for your constant support as always. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If you guys like Cougar House Garage, if you guys like what we do, check us out at cougarhousegarage.com. Check us out at Facebook /Cougar House Garage. And we are Cougar House Garage on Instagram. Follow us. We'll see you guys tomorrow.